Hey everybody, it's Erin. I got the coolest little happy mail. All right, a while ago, and this is a while ago, a bunch of ladies, there were 5 of us total, and we were ranging from Canada and the States. So it was me, Shannon, Trina, Sherry, and Clara. 2 of us are in Texas and 3 in Canada, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And what we decided to do was create this mail journal, and this is my mail journal. And I have not opened it to see what has been added. The whole point behind it, and I actually showed, I'm going to break this. The whole point behind the mail journal is I started it, I created the front cover, and I added 1 page on the inside. I then mailed it to the next person in line. They added a page, they mailed it to the next person in line. Everybody also created their own journals, of which they created the front, they created the book itself, and mailed it. So as journals came to me, I added art to it and then passed it along. And so I've got a whole series of videos of the book coming to me showing what was in the video, in the books that they've created, other people's art journal pages in there, and then my art that went in there as well. Well, somewhere along the way, mine apparently got lost. It's been found, which is fantastic. It's bound to happen when somebody sends something. She felt the person who, I think it got stuck under something and it got put into the shuffle of things and she thought that it got lost or she thought she mailed it. Long story short, she found it. She added to it, sent it to the next person. That person then added it to it, and so on. In the meantime, because this has been a few months, everybody felt pretty bad about the fact that my journal got lost. And so they sent me some art journal pages to add to create and make a new book of mine. And basically all it is an 8x8 sheet of paper that you fold in half, and that's what creates the art journal. So I had a few of these sent to me, and I'm going to try and pop them in here as best as I can because I have a few different pieces that I can pop in. But I haven't had a chance to look at my journal yet, so we're going to look at it together. It's pretty fun. So again, I created the front and back. I also put the mailing address on the back, so in case when it got to that person, they wouldn't have to hunt down who it was going to next. But I do have a video about how to create this. And this is using a thin printer paper. That way it wouldn't get too terribly bulky. So this is the first one. Now, I'll have only ever seen one insert into this, because people were making them and passing them along. And if you want to make a couple pages, you could too. All right, so this is so cool. The reason for putting some of the extra pages is that maybe it was a little sticky, and it did have a little bit of paint on it when I first opened it, and heat and cold, but it's feeling pretty good. The binding of my book, it looks like it got a little bit torn, so that's why some of the tape got on here. All right, so what they have done is they've taken and they've gessoed the entire front page, and then they've added some layers of stencils. And then they put some fun alphabet letters, which I think is really cool. So I think they put the alphabet letters first after they had gessoed it. They added the stenciling, and then they started doing splatters of colors, but a lot of it's keeping it very white, and then just a few fun creative art, and then just keeping it simple. So there's splatters of paint. Looks like they kind of added in some other colors. There's some greens, there's some pinks, there's some browns in here, and maybe a little bit of stamping, or that could have just been, and this is from Daisy, T Daisy. We had a Trina Provost, Shannon Pratt, Sherry Habing, and Clara Bennett. Those are the people that were actually in our book. But that's kind of a fun little excerpt. This is the page that I made. Oh, not sure what this is. Oh, this is just another fun page I can glue in here. That's kind of cool. So this is the other page that I made to go inside my book. And this is, I have a video on how I made this one as well, which is pretty cool. It's one of my favorite pages. I love blue, and so it's really one of my favorites. Added some of the Renia foil in here and stuff. This looks like somebody had some fun just taking some paper and doing a bunch of fun different stamps on it and just playing. I love it, the cheetah, giraffe. There's lots of really cool graphics. It's just a fun graphic, and that's kind of what's cool. So I guess they layered it in here and tucked it in. And this is just, it's kind of a cool, it almost, this reminds me of is what you would do if you were doing shaving cream art, and you put paint and stuff in shaving cream, and then you put your paper, and it creates all these really swirly effects. That's pretty. You never know what you're going to get when you open it up. Oh, here's another one. Okay. So this one is, you cannot have art without heart. And so she's created this whole big page here, and these are 2 separate pages. This is from Sherry Habing right here. Here's another one from T Daisy. Maybe she's using a middle name. It might be Trina, and then she's just using her middle name. That would be my guess. because I don't know another T that would have gotten this book. So they've covered the whole thing in purple, and then in a black pen they wrote this, and then in a kind of a gold yellowy pen they started just writing words all over it. Fairies, life, skylights, inspiration, pain, all that glitters, strength, sunshine, time, just tons of different words in all different directions. I can turn it and I can still read paints, dots. She had a blast with that, which is really fun. All right, this page here is another one, and this is what's really cool. She has taken those mailing labels and she colored each mailing label a different color, and then she used that, and that's what these little rectangles are. So the first thing she did is she took the paper, so she took the page and she added, can't tell what she added to it. That page is chock full. I may not have room to put these in. I'm gonna see if I can find a space in here though. All right, so she's taken, almost looks kind of like a grayish color, which is really pretty. And that's the background, but it's kind of like a marbly gray color. And then we have all these beautiful colored mailing labels that she's stuck in here. And each mailing label she's done, and there's kind of a reddish, and it looks like they've been misted because there's a sheen to them. And they're really, really pretty. I love that effect. She did that in one of her books too. So one of the other pages that she done that had actually come through to me that I had added and done stuff to in a previous book. She had done the same technique, and I thought it was so cool. So she's added words on top of that: cherish, enjoy, remember, hope, kindness. There's a die cut here that looks like a really pretty flower, and then some viney leaves that are coming down. So pretty. I love that. All right, here's another cool one. This one's also by Sherry Having. So people were adding more than one page. So Sherry did one here, and then she also did one here. And I got a really nice note that actually came with the book that explained what had happened, and they got a little delayed, and it's been sitting on the book for a couple months just because, you know, life happens, and it does. And I got this right before Christmas, and I was kind of hanging on to it, hoping to do a video shortly thereafter explaining what was going on, because I've been waiting for this book. I didn't even think it was coming. It was so cool. All right, so here's another book. It looks like they just did a whole bunch of really cool watercolor, and the watercolor effect is the same, so it bled through, but it's really pretty. I love the effect of that, which means it probably bled. Oh yeah, look, see, it bled through on this side. That's just cool the way it is. I don't even think I want to touch that. It's so pretty. So it looks like they just took a whole bunch of mists and stuff. On this side, what they did is they took like this big kind of reddish, and then they outlined it, which is really cool. And to kind of go back, they also did outline, oops, on this page, each of those blocks in black. Forgot to mention that. So you can kind of see the blocks coming through on here. So she took, if you can see, like here is one block here, and you can see it. So she decided to use it to her advantage and block it out here with the white as well. And then she took a blue pen, because these two pages go together. So she's taken a blue pen and then just doodled everywhere, and doodled in the squares, doodled in the empty space, added fun doodling all over the place. It says, color is a place where your brain and universe meet. Paul Cézanne. It's strange how deeply colors seem to penetrate the one like a scent. George Eliot. And then she wrote pretty, and colors tell a story. So this is again by Sherry. Oh, and then she wrote down here, she said, fill in. So this is for me to fill in. I love that. Or for somebody. Maybe I can let my daughter get in on this. So people were putting little inserts of paper so that way it wouldn't bleed through. This one is from Art Junkie. And so one of the ladies' nicknames is Art Junkie, which I think is beautiful. I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. I'm so sorry. But she was doing a lot of faces in a lot of her pages that I saw coming through. So she's done a background that's completely in like this pastel yellow. And then she drew, and I'm pretty sure she hand drew this person, which is phenomenal. I cannot draw people to save my life. I cannot draw. I can doodle like little squigglies like this, but that's about it. She's done it in blue. I love that. I love the colors of this. She's added the heart. This one she stamped, life itself is a wonderful adventure. And then through the strands of the hair, and also around here, she's added little, it's like either a pearlescent or it's a nouveau drop or something, but you can feel it's textured all throughout, and it's like bumpy and raised, and it's so pretty. And that's what all these little gold drops, dots, drops, whatever you want to call them. And then we have the pink ones. These ones are pearlescent, and the pink ones are kind of a glittery clear. So I'm not sure exactly. It could have been a stickle. It could be, but they feel raised. So to me, I think it's a nouveau drop. Just my gut feeling is that's what it's telling me, because stickles don't feel raised when they dry, but nouveau drops do. So I love that. That's awesome. There's this little fluffy thing back here. I can't wait to get there, but I'm not going to cheat. I'm going to go step by step. Here's another one by Art Junkie. Awesome. Okay, so this is by Art Junkie, and this is another one by Sherry Habing. So it's been painted all these fun different colors, layers of paint, and she's added those Nuvo drops again in there. And then she did a stamp of this little girl, which I think is cool. And she stamped and colored her out and glued her in, and then added some fun layers. But she's in the paint. It looks like she added quite a bit of paint. And then she texturized it. Like she took something and put lines in it. And the paint colors are like yellow and pink. Looks almost like a purple, and there's orange. Those are really pretty. And then the drops are on top of that are just sticking. It says, "Be strong, be fierce." So, I mean, art journal pages can be just about anything. Now, to tell you how long this art journal has been away from me, this page has been made since 2016. We're now in 18. So I actually sent this, I think, just before. It's been about a year. It's been gone. I know it says 16 and we're in 2018, but I think we sent it in like November of 16. And so we had through Christmas, and then things got delayed. And so anyway, it's been a little while. But I got it back. I'm so happy. So on this page, what we have is somebody's taken a whole bunch of splatterings of color. Similar idea to this, but different. So we have the yellow here, and then there's the blue, and then just spray paints of white and splatters and mists. And then she has hand-drawn, or it could have been a stamp, but I think it's a hand-drawn elephant with all these beautiful colors. And then there's some little drops of color in here too that she's added in green, and there's just lots of flashes of color. But the elephant is amazing. I just needed an elephant, is all it said. That's what Sherry wrote. She goes, "It just needed an elephant." I love that. Of course, it just needs an elephant. We're going to carefully pull this back up. This is why I think she wanted to give me these beautiful papers, and that's why they're in here. My book got filled. I have no space to put any of these extra pages. My book is completely, this one's from Clara. So I did get Clara, Sherry, Trina, everybody got to put in here. I think Shannon is Art Junkie, so she's the one who put the most in here. Okay, so here's all the fun, but she used cotton balls to make it look like it is, oh, I can't think. It's, snow. That's the word I'm looking for. Okay, so she was the last person to add in, and she gave me these beautiful papers to go in here as well. So she's taken some, it looks like hymn books, and she's popped them in, which I think is kind of fun. People were throwing things in books too, not throwing, but they were adding little things like, hey, use up stuff. So go back and check some of those other videos. They're really kind of fun. I'll have the playlist up in the corner about some of those videos. So this one is again by Clara. She did this just this past month, so 12/17. She has taken sections of all these different papers. So like she's cut out all these different papers and then glued them. It looks like she's Mod Podged them on there. We then have this kind of road looking thing in purple, and it says wishing you joy this season. So it looks like it's a road, or it could be like a Santa hat. Oh, it's a Santa hat. I thought it was a road. Yeah, that makes more sense. Now it's a Santa hat or an elf hat. You know, she went in purple, and so this is the trim of the elf hat, and then going up, so it's the fur, and then going up, and then we have a little ornament that's hanging down. So it's so cute. I love that. So thank you guys. I love it. So I was going to be able to, I was going to try and put these in here. Now I still kind of could. So for instance, I have a page here, and because this is a double-sided page, I could just insert this. I'm going to see if I can do that. I probably will have to sew this back in, but I think I can just add them in like here and sew that page in. And I'll probably have to, because this is just a little bit too big. If you notice, it's just a titch too big, and same with this page right here. I can put these in, but I will have to basically separate pages. So this was my original center, but what I might do is add this page in here. I'm going to get some stuff together, and we're going to add these in. Make my book complete. All right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a needle, and then I have some embroidery thread because I don't have anything else that I can truly bind. I know there's a lot of things that people use for binding, but I have a ton of this embroidery thread, and I'm just going to use it. And I'm also going to keep it at full strength. I'm not going to pull it apart. So I'm going to pick a needle I can actually get all this through, but one that's not, I mean, I've got some pretty thick needles here. I may switch gears, but somehow I'm thinking that this may not completely poke through. I don't know. We'll see. I might have to get out my something to help puncture, but I don't want to ruin the integrity of the book. So we'll see. All right. I don't want to glue into this either because I'm adding pages in versus just gluing them to an empty page. So then my book is complete, which is really fun. I never thought I would be able to do that. Such a cool treat. Okay, so I'm going to add this page into here. And I might add a tiny bit of glue when it's all said and done, just along the binding here, just to reinforce it. But I don't want to put the glue in yet because then everything is going to get sticky and gross. So I'm gonna have to trim this up just a tiny bit. I think there's a little bit extra on the edges I can just kind of trim off. So I'm gonna get out some scissors and just trim. There, that should be good. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect, but it definitely doesn't stick out horribly more. But if I take any more off, it's gonna ruin that little thing there. Okay, now this page was made, I'm not sure, I wrote it down. When I first got it, there was another video about me doing this one, and I did write it down. Who sent this one to me? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put a little knot in here, and I am gonna glue where I put the knot in. There's no way around me not being able to knot this, because otherwise it's just gonna fall through. And, you know, adding this in is just gonna reinforce the book as well. So I think that's kind of cool. And I went with pink, and I know pink is a little different. I originally had yellow, but it's all good. All right, so all I'm doing is I'm taking it and I'm coming through right at the binding here, and I'm just gonna reinforce right through here. Just going through, kind of just reinforcing the same spot a couple of times, giving it a good anchor here. And then instead of going up the back binding here, I'm going to go through the middle because the pink kind of works a little bit better. And I'm going to do the same thing in the middle. Reinforce the middle here. Now, and reinforce this little section right here. Reinforce all along the seam binding, but I cannot close this yet. I have to wait for this to dry. Reinforce right here. I'm going to trim this guy off and then lay it down. So now the next step is let that dry. While that is drying, I'm going to trim off these pages. So I'm just going to kind of lay this. I got a lot to trim off here. So I got to be careful. I don't want to cut off her name, so I'm going to try and cut off as much as I can from the top of this. And then for that, I'm going to pull out my paper trimmer. I don't want to leave messy lines. Actually, I think I'm just going to try and washi tape this in, because if I put a binding in the middle of this, it's going to lose some of the beautifulness of this. In this particular case, it was all pink, so it was not a big deal. It's starting to stick a little bit. That's okay. It wasn't 100% dry, but we'll live. So I wasn't really too worried because I'm not cutting through, but here I'm going to be cutting right through the owl. So we're just going to washi tape. On this art page, I am going to end up covering up a little bit of the word arts, but if I go with a black washi tape, I should be fine. So I just actually found a black. So I'm going to butt this up right in here, start with the top, and really make sure I get in here. And it's just my way of adding in that page. I'm splitting it between the two. I'm going to have to do this with the other page too, because the other page, this is where I keep my washi tape. Have you noticed my storage? The other one also is going to cut right through the middle of the artwork and the picture that she put on there. So I don't want to do the other method. So we're going to washi tape them both, which is absolutely fine. Okay, so keep on coming in here. Fold it over. I need to add a tiny bit more. And if I secure it on both sides, we should be good. Sometimes finding the starting point of your washi tape is oh so much fun. That splits on half on you. How many of you do that? But this is another fun way of actually using washi tape, which is kind of cool. Just get in there. There's that. Now we're going to come and we're going to add it on this side. And it will also help reinforce the center because it's starting to pull apart. This page right here is getting a little bit loose, so it's just going to add some more reinforcement and strength to the whole thing. And I'm going to keep with the black as well. because there's so many colors on here. The black is the neutral. All right, so really make sure this is lined up where I want it to be. All right, so now I'm going to take this page and I'm going to put this in here because it's not competing and it's kind of fun. And I already have the black washi tape, and these are kind of cool 2 pages that go together. So just creating more in the book. And then I'm actually going to put in some of these other pages that got sent to me. I'm going to tack them in as well, but I got to do these ones first. It sticks out a little bit, but again, if I cut any more of this, I'm going to cut off part of her daughter. I'm going to cut off her name. I don't want to do that. And then here, if I cut any more, I'm going to lose the integrity of the words, the letters. So it's just bigger. It is what it is. I also got this really pretty page, which is this right here. And I think I can just do my washi tape method and stick this in here like that. So I'm going to recenter this. And just add that in right there. All right, so now I've got those pages in there, and I'm just going to use my glue. I need to trim this up just a tiny bit. I'm going to trim from here. And just glue this to this page. Just like that. And I'm just going to use my craft glue. And since I got this really pretty paper and I want to remember all the things that I got on my book, I'm going to add one little page because this is just a blank white page. So I'm just going to add one little page into here. And maybe one day I'll come back in and I'll add something to these pages or I do something. But for now, I'm just going to leave the book the way that I got it. All the pieces that were sent to me, that came to me, you know, add them in here. And it's a remembrance of this year-long journey of this amazing little art journal that is chock full of so much cool stuff, starting from me making a page and then people adding in pages, my page, more pages from people, more pages. So this is kind of open to doing something. You could just stamp on here or leave it. I mean, it's beautiful. A little fun extra page that somebody made. I'm not even sure who made this. If you're the one who made it, speak up. You know, adding in a couple extra pieces. The extra pages that got sent to me because I thought my book was lost, adding those in. Cool insert because these are 2 pages that are actually not together but look like they could be. You know, because Clara made both of those. Beautiful art journal page here. Okay, and then coming in, and then we have more pieces. This goes really well together here. You know, just lots of beautifulness in this beautiful book. So I have a fun little art journal book that is done. You know, it pretty much every page has got something on it. And how many people can say they have a complete art journal page? Art journal book, I should say. So thanks so much, everybody. And everybody who was part of this art journal journey. I hope you enjoyed all the pages that came to you and all the books that you got that were finished and complete. And I love mine. So if you've never done an art journal journey before, it is kind of cool. It's fun to see how it comes back and where it came from and what everybody puts in and everybody's different interpretations of different kinds of art. I mean, it's so cool. There's so many different ways that it can go. And it's just kind of fun, you know, even you doing your own personal art book. It's just a matter of it being fun. And, you know, every time you do an art journal page, it's going to be a little different. It's not going to be the same. I obviously kind of had, I mean, if you look at the 2 pages I did, I kind of had the same feel for this one and for this one in the look of it. But I've done other art journal pages that are completely different. And it's kind of cool to see your journey and your path and where you're going to take it. I mean, I love this. I just love them all. I think they're all amazing. So have a wonderful day. Please subscribe and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.